And here it is, my fine detail stug. And let's get it off the bed and compare it to the medium quality one I printed the other day. Okay, well, sizing wise, they've printed out pretty consistent size, so that's good. The initial look, the detail here seems pretty good, and of course being in this white you can't really see it. What is a bit worrying is on this rear deck it's pretty solid on the lower quality, but it does look like I've got two little holes. I don't know if you can see that with this lighting. So I'm going to have to give this a spray up and see what it looks like. But initially some bits are looking good, but the quality of the outer skin seems to be a little bit of a problem. Now, I'm not sure if that's an issue with the model or the settings I did. I'm going to have to look into that and maybe tweak it. So this is not exactly the same model, but you know, they're pretty close to each other. This is the slightly improved version of the Stug, whereas this is the kind of original version. And you can see the little box files on the back. I think this was like a very early model, and this was the kind of slightly newer version before they upgunned it with the long barrel. Anyway, get it off this support material, try not to damage the tracks, and get it sprayed up. Well, as you may or may not be able to see, I've been having a little bit of fun getting this material off, trying not to damage the tracks on the underside. But it is coming off relatively easily, but this is probably the biggest pain, is getting this off. Now, I could print it without a bed and support material, but that would cause potentially other problems, so let's continue stripping this. Okay, well, we finally managed to get all the support material off. I did do a little bit of damage underneath, but hopefully you can see the quality of the finish is definitely way better. Anyway, next time you see this tank, it's going to be the same colour as this one. So here you go. On the right is the original medium quality one, on the left the high quality one, and yes, there is a little bit of surface damage, but otherwise the quality is definitely a step up. Let's get it inside and have a closer look. Well, hello. As you can probably hear, I'm printing and just giving you an update. So if you remember, this was the Stug I printed out at low resolution, and it worked pretty well. So I upped it to higher resolution. And as you can see, I didn't adjust the layers and they got a bit thin, and I guess with the low level of support and the detail, didn't quite work out. So third time's a charm, and this is pretty much there. It's pretty good. I don't think you're going to be able to critique that too much. The quality's pretty good, the solidity's good. I then went on to print this Hulk figure, and he's worked out pretty well. The back's not so good, but that's because I actually printed him like that on the bed, so there was a load of support material I had to scrape off the back, so I gave it a quick spray just to see how rough the back was, and yeah, a little bit of clean-up required there, but that should repair up quite nicely. I also printed out some nice terrain. Now, the idea was potentially I could use this with my 15mm stuff. It might work better with 6mm. You still got the protection on the back. Now this one, sadly, when I pulled it off the bed, it actually snapped off the base. So I've stuffed a little bit of green stuff in there just to seal it. Then I'm going to get some card or some base, glue that down, and then green stuff it in so it all looks good. The bit I've just finished printing is this tilescape bit of bookshelf decor. and it's printed out pretty well. A little bit of droop there. I do wonder if printing it actually face down might work quite well. And what am I printing now? Yes, I'm printing a slightly larger version of the Hulk stood upright. So if this was the print bed, this would be the bottom straight down, and I'm trying it without any raft, because I've noticed the raft that I'm getting from my new bit of software, Simplify 3D, is pretty strong, which is why I've left it on this one, because I didn't want a repeat of this situation. Anyway, pretty happy, and I have to say, whilst it's not as good as a proper plastic kit, that is perfectly adequate for me just to try out some Russian tanks. These will probably be, well, particularly these two, these short-barreled studs, they're probably going to get converted into rec markers for objectives and stuff. And I'm very excited to see, with regard to tanks, that there's a desert kit coming out, hence why I've gone with this desert dark green as my base coat, and then I'm going to have to look at lightening it up with a proper paint job. And same with this, a bit of airbrush on this I think would bring this up quite nicely, and I'm pretty happy with this. I did shrink this down, and I think I might have slightly overshrunk it, but it does work at 15mm. Got a nice little bit of cover that you can shoot over, but it's not quite the look I was going for. Anyway, that pretty much rounds out this video, giving you an update on where I'm at, and a bit more playing with Simplify 3D. Might be able to get the quality up even from this, which is reasonably decent for my current configuration. So other bits I'm looking into are modifications for the ANET, and as I say, just tweaks to the software. Anyway, till next time, take care.